Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Bitcoin currently above 41k. Hasn't really moved a lot since my last video. A little bit upside since then, but overall nothing too exciting. So let's take a look at the Bitcoin chart. In my opinion, we could still be in this ABCDE pattern, where you are in this sort of triangle. This is an Elliott Wave account, where basically we would assume that what I have labeled here as wave 4 would only be triggered here. That would then be the wave 4 top when we complete that wave E, after which you would then start to move down in this wave 5. To complete that wave E, I'm looking for the next move up all the way up to just above 45k. And based on this Elliott Wave count, we could assume that then when we reach this resistance level, we would move down here in the next step, because you normally exit the triangle at the opposite end of that wave E. Okay, so that is what I do expect here at the moment. This here in the triangle does not need to play out like this Elliott Wave count ABCDE. There are other possibilities, but this is one possibility that I find quite likely, given that we are really in this very clear range. And we could expect another move up all the way up to that 45.5k level, that resistance level of that triangle, before you then head down. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for here. This would be my primary expectation, that we are moving down here. If we move up to that resistance or not, I don't really care about. I am looking for my primary expectation, which means that we are out of this triangle at some point, break out to the downside and hit this resistance down here. This support anywhere in this area between 20 and 29k. At around 27.5k, we've got the 61.8% fib level. That is the most relevant Fibonacci retracement, and I think this would be a possible, very likely support level. If we zoom out, by the way, you can clearly see this structure and how it is playing out. You can see when we came up here back in from end of 2020 into 2021, this was our wave 1. This was our all-time high back then, and we then started the correction. That correction is nearly lasting a year now. You could say it started at the top here in April, and since then we have been in this correction. What you see here, and that's labeled as ABC in orange, this was all part of the correction, even though we made a higher high. You call that in Elliott Wave terms an expanded flat, where you are going higher than the previous high in your wave B, and then you are coming down in your wave C, in which we currently are, in my opinion, below the low of wave A. That is what I'm looking for here. And just to show you these three kinds of so-called flat patterns based on the Elliott Wave method, you've got the regular flat, which this scenario cannot be. Basically, you also have an ABC correction, where the A wave is the wave that is starting the correction. Then you got your wave B, which is basically correcting the wave A, and then you have your wave C. The wave C does normally here in a regular flat end pretty much where the wave A low is, but we cannot, this is not a regular flat, because the wave B did go too high. The wave B of Bitcoin did go higher than the previous high, so this is not a regular flat. Then we've got the irregular flat, and this clearly shows that the wave B was an overshooting wave B. This is the case in an irregular or so-called expanded flat. When you have that, and that often happens when you have a very bullish market, and the Bitcoin market and crypto market is bullish. Absolutely, it's a very young market, very volatile. And at the end of the last year, a lot of people expected new all-time highs, expected the price to go to 100k. And therefore, I believe we therefore had this expanded flat, this overshooting wave B, which normally might have played out as a normal regular flat. So in this case, therefore, I'm looking here for this irregular flat, this so-called expanded flat, because the wave B did overshoot the previous high, and that would assume that the wave C is going lower than the wave A. There is also a so-called running flat pattern, and I often get asked why do I not just accept that the low could already be in, because based on this pattern, this could be the case, a running flat. Yes, this is certainly possible, but as I say, always in this market we can only move and maneuver ourselves by considering probabilities. I mean, there are probably hundreds and thousands of, and even infinite possibilities how a certain market can move, but I'm looking here for the most likely version, and such a so-called running flat I only see here with a probability of maybe 5%, to be honest. A running flat is a very rare correction, and I often reply to people who ask me that in the comments, that a running flat is extremely rare. It is one of the rarest ABC patterns, and especially personally in the Bitcoin market, I haven't seen one. Yeah, especially not in this wave pattern, especially in the kind of a major wave pattern in which we currently are, or the wave degree, you can also call it. It is very, very unlikely. Yeah, so Bitcoin typically does not do running flats. Bitcoin typically does either expanding or regular flats, and that's what I'm looking for here, especially in the current wave pattern here, in the wave degree. A running flat, as I said, is very rare, and you see it also across other markets very, very rarely, especially in a wave 2, and in my opinion we are here in a wave 2. So this here was our wave 1 back in April. We are now in the wave 2. The wave 2 consists of that ABC, but in a wave 2 a running flat doesn't make much sense to me, because a running flat you normally get when a market is already a little bit matured, not that young, when it's less impulsive or less volatile, yeah, and yeah, when the market just for some reason is not able to correct, to put a proper low in place, and you need, for a clean correction, you need that lower low. That is just how it is. And I showed you in the last videos already some examples here, what Bitcoin did in the past. ABC, that was a lower low, ABC, that was a lower low, and I think there was one or two more examples I showed you. But Bitcoin typically does these things, and therefore, even if the correction here doesn't play out like I think, and it will go into its alternative scenario, and we talked about the alternative as well. The alternative would be that Bitcoin breaks to the upside of this triangle, moves then we have a different wave count. Yeah, so basically the previous wave count then gets invalidated, or at least much less likely. We're then going into this area up here and will then come down. Yeah, so this would then be a wave B, and then we come down in the wave C. I don't know in which direction the triangle will break out, but in each scenario you have one clear, or in each whatever happens, yeah, up or down, you have one clear scenario that you can prepare for. Had a comment earlier today from someone who said, well, you're always right that way, because you have you just adjust your wave count based on what's happening. Yeah, of course. I mean, that's all about it. I don't have the crystal ball, and I can't tell you what is going to happen next, but I can tell you in each scenario the most likely version of what is going to happen based on the Elliott Wave method. All I'm doing here is applying the Elliott Wave rules, and this can allow you to understand what in a certain market environment the market is capable of doing. That's as high as TA gets. You can't do more. You can't for sure say the market is definitely going down or is definitely going up. No, it's all about probabilities, and I am someone who very clearly says what he expects. So I personally expect here very clearly, my primary expectation is that the price is going to go down out of this triangle to the downside. But of course, it would be irresponsible to not tell you the alternative scenario, because in a proper proper TA, a good technical analysis, you're always prepared for an alternative scenario, because you're not making the market, right? And I don't know what the market is deciding, but we have to understand what a market can do in a certain scenario. Also, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about reacting to the market in each scenario. That is what it's about. You don't want to be very stubborn and always just go for one scenario. You want to understand what is going to happen if the market is turning into the other direction, because otherwise, I'm not naive. I know the market could at any time do something different. That's fine, and I want to be prepared for that. And I am making sure I will prepare you for that as well, because you need to know that. Yeah, so that's what it's about. It's not about being right, or definitely telling you, there's an emergency video and breakout. No, I mean, we just need to understand what the market is doing, right? And of course, the market can move in any direction, but we need to understand that currently the market is in a triangle pattern. The market is currently in a range. The market doesn't know what it's doing at the moment. And only when we cross here certain levels, and I told you which levels these are, to the upside, the 45.5K level, to the downside, it is basically at the moment it would be here the 38k level, then one of these scenarios gets much more likely. Yeah. And yeah, you know the limits of both scenarios, and yeah, hopefully that is useful. So hopefully that TA was useful, and the explanation about the different flat patterns as well. If you like the update, then please hit the like button, leave a subscribe please, and leave a comment as well. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. As channel member, you can get access to lots of additional content on Discord, Telegram, and you can get access to a weekly live stream. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And hopefully you like the update. See you in the next video. Bye bye.